problem with all these functions around Parliament is becoming that it seems to be the entire focus is on an individual and the government. Parliament belongs to all parties. It does not belong only to the BJP or, dare I say, Mr. Modi. It belongs to all parties. What stops you from making this a consensual effort? It could have been, the design could have been discussed in the parliamentary committees. Why not do it? It will solve all these issues. You're saying today it's much ado about nothing. You could have resolved it very comfortably. Invite everyone, make it more consensual. The entire exercise of this new parliament building seems to be almost like a diktat from the top. That's the problem.
Well, Rajdeep, I think the opposition have no leg to stand on. Just do a back testing. The leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha, Mr. Ghulam Nabi Azad, and in Lok Sabha, the MP from Bengal, both were invited, they boycotted. I think the Congress spokesperson does not know about this development. Secondly, there are many such instances I can quote you where the invitation was sent, like for instance, on Constitution Day. The invite was sent and they didn't turn up. None of the opposition turned up. So they need to have first showcase the kind of response needs to be demonstrated by the opposition bench.
Jawar Sirkar, this is the third time on the show today. Zafar Islam, just a minute. Just a minute. Zafar Islam, this is the third time on the show, Mr. Jawar Sirkar.
Listen.
No, 1 minute now, sir.
Just a second. The Parliament has the new Parliament has not been handed over to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Till that time, I think that the invites need not be sent to every MP or the opposition parties. That is what the protocol is.
Okay, you made your point. Let Jawar Sirkar respond. Mr. Sirkar, the opposition seems to have a problem that the entire focus is on the Prime Minister. I have seen some comment, one nation, one photo, as suggested by Ajoy Kumar. No. But when the opposition is invited to many of the prime ministerial functions, you don't go.
I would not attend a particularly religious function devoted to one community in a secular state. I mean, those are issues we don't bring about. But right now, the major issue is that this is not a question of not consulting only on the national symbol on top. As Ajay put it so beautifully, you have so many national symbols on top of buildings, the Vidhan Saudha, as he mentioned. Its question is much wider, that of democratic principle, that of involving people. Not a single discussion has been held on the floor of either house. Not a single discussion has been held on the floor of either house of parliament on the new buildings to which the MP shall be consigned. Their opinions have not been taken. It is a top-down offer, take it or leave it. There's no question of leaving, so take it and clap. This is not the way a democracy functions. This is not the way it functions. It reveals a mentality, as someone put it, a particular degree of meanness, pettiness. All we are doing is to point out, now the die is cast, that building that is coming up, its visual, its architecture leaves much to be questioned. Its selection of its architect, the same man who did Mr. Modi's projects in Sabarmati, did it in Ahmedabad, did it in Varanasi. He seems to be the only architect in India who is capable of producing wonders like the Parliament building, new Parliament building, like the Central Vista. For God's sake, let's get a hold on principles, normative principles of governance. So we cannot go on bending and crawling at every point. Okay. There is a totalitarian, there is an authoritarian wave going around, and this is just a reflection of it. We cannot be carrying ladders to go up to the top to see whether it's an absolute replica. We look at it from the bottom. And that is what you need to have factored in. And if you had factored in, if you had asked sensible people, who know how to do these things, instead of leaving it to some technocrats and bureaucrats and some overambitious ministers